Hello, we're glad to have you join us. I am Uzezi Udwefe-Ideho, and this is The Breakfast Show on TSL Nigeria TV.
Welcome. Today on The Breakfast Show, we will be looking at the federal government's decision to review the salaries of civil servants as part of measures to cut the cost of governance. Recall that in a policy dialogue between the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, and ICPC, she mentioned that the president is deciding to cut the salaries of civil servants and other federal agencies. Now, there is a developing story concerning this. We'll get to talk about that in the course of the show. On the show today, we are joined by social commentator, of course, a regular on the show, Kewe Modupe. Good morning, sir. You're welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Okay, so when we got the information, that was May 4, about the federal government's decision to, review, they use the word review, the salaries of civil servants and some federal agencies. Nigerians received it with shock, as usual. We're always getting shockers. But there is a developing information saying that civil servants are going to earn more, that there's not going to be a salary cut, but they're going to earn more money. And I'm wondering, how is it possible for you to pay people more and you want to reduce the cost of governance? How does that work?
Okay, I think the last time I appeared on your show, the topic we treated then was...
It's always about money.
Nigeria.
Is Nigeria broke? And we're able to establish the fact that we are broke. And when a man is broke, the next thing that comes to your mind is to look for ways to cut down on your lifestyle. Now, if you check the civil service in this country is a reflection of the extravagant lifestyle of our political leaders.
Okay.
In the sense that if you ask, we know the way civil service they operate. You go to the civil service secretariat, as it were, you see job that is meant to be handled by one person. You see 7 persons handling that job. So sometimes you ask yourself, does the government have business being in business? Because most times what they do is this: if you're elected into any political office, there are some persons that are your supporters or your fan.
You must put in the system.
It's good. So the only way you can compensate them is for you to look for a way to provide these jobs for them, even if they are not qualified, even if they don't even know what they are doing there. And it's even worse in the northern part of this country. We've seen cases where people will just come to work in the morning, sign,
and they're out.
Go under the
I don't think it's a nothing problem. I think it's a general civil service problem because it happens in the south as well.
While I was in secondary school, you have some teachers who just come in the morning, they sign, and they go
about their businesses.
Good. So I think when the government says, okay, they want to look for ways to slash workers' salary, I think the second statement or the statement they made afterwards, I think what they want to do is to cut down on the number of staff they have in civil service. What I feel they should do is to cut down the number of staff.
Especially ghost workers, because right from time immemorial, we've been hearing the stories of ghost workers, people who are not in the system, but there's a particular name and a particular account that receives a certain amount of money every month as salary.
I thought prior to 2015, we were able to deal with the issue.
It was dealt with in some federal agencies, some parastatals, but not all of it.
Not all.
Because I know in Cross River State, sorry Zezi, Suburb in Cross River State dealt thoroughly with ghost workers. No, the chairman took it as a point of responsibility, not giving this task to anybody to carry out, but he did it himself, going from one local government to the other, to see these teachers themselves.
You see, even the local government you just mentioned, not even worse.
Now, he saw teachers who actually are not qualified for the job, those who forged certificates, and those who don't even come to work. Those who are dead people were still receiving monies. So when he saw all of that, and he was able to take down close to 117 names out of the payroll.
Sorry to cut it short. You just said dead people receiving money.
Yes.
The civil servant is not the one that receives money that's meant for the fellow civil servant. Who are these persons? The so-called leaders you're talking about. I don't know the one receiving the salary.
The leaders, yes. The leaders, yes. But there's something I always do. When I'm apportioning blames, everybody gets a share as far as Nigeria is concerned. Because if the school itself knows that this person is... Because the fault is not even from SUBEB itself. The fault is from the school. Somebody is dead. Okay. Can the person's name be taken out of the payroll? No. The chairman will not know that somebody died in a local government somewhere.
I'm looking at this ghost worker.
So if let's start with ghost workers. If the principal himself or other head teachers make this information known that okay, XYZ person is no longer with us and therefore the person's name should be taken out of the payroll, we would even know that okay, someone is dead and somebody should be replaced. There'll be a space for a new job.
But no. What happens is that sometimes they just change their account numbers.
They just change their account numbers, and that is done within the school.
And they share the money into two. So for you bringing your account number, you get your
get a percentage.
Then myself who has given you the link and who has created that platform for you get percentage.
I'm looking at this issue from the foundation.
Okay.
You understand? Because that's where we should hit the issue from. The problem is this. You have an office, you're running an office. Before you think of recruitment, you must have a job that you want somebody to carry out.
Yes.
I want you to describe, okay, I need this A to come occupy this position so they can be able to take care of the job. That's why we have issue of job description. Now, in civil service, ask yourself, these persons they employ, what do they do on a daily basis? When they come to work in the morning, okay, I presume this is Monday morning. Thank God it's Monday. What do I do? You see, nothing they do.
I had a chit chat with someone who works in the ministry here in Edo State, and sad to say, but I mean, it happens everywhere, so we can't pretend, we can't turn a blind eye. And I asked her, like, so what is it that you people actually do in the office? And she says, oh, well, she's not going to lie, they just sit from morning till not tonight. They sit from morning till it's time for her to pick her children from school.
School run time.
I'm like, oh, okay, so like, is that all? She said, yeah, like, she really does not do anything in the office, so she can even carry her child, who is 6 months, to the office and breastfeed there and do everything. I'm like, so nobody supervises. And she's like, not really, because the ministry, the work they are supposed to do, actually, the other ministry close to them literally does everything because they want to get funds. So it's like that ministry is oppressing the ministry where she is. So they're just really laid back. Now, drawing from what you said, that when a man is broke, he tries to cut down his expense. If truly this was a reality, do you think it's a step in the right direction?
I want to ask you a question. Look at it.
A question with a question.
I want to ask you this question. The situation when you wake up one morning, we're done with the election, swearing-in ceremony, and the governor of the states discovered that we have a ministry called the Ministry of Works. But because he wants to bring innovation, he wants to do something different, he creates another ministry called Ministry of Infrastructure. So you'll be forced to ask yourself, what is Ministry of Works? What is Ministry of Infrastructure? And they are operating, this one is doing his work, this one is doing, so you ask yourself, okay, what is Ministry of Works doing? What is Ministry of Infrastructure doing? And that's not where it ends. So the federal government will not come again and create their own Ministry of Works. In this way, you have duplicity, and you have this fund is coming from because states. We have Ministry of Works, states. We have federal, and this money is coming from federal, coming from the taxpayers' money, money that is meant to use to do things. You are putting. The truth about it is that the foundation is destroyed. They need to sit down and ask themselves, what do we want for this?
So you think there should be an overall infrastructure
overhauling
when it comes to ministry, right?
Yes.
So do you think ministries should be merged? Because I remember a time where ministries were merged. Do you think ministries should be merged? And if ministries are merged, don't you think that it's going to cause a lot of unemployment? A lot of people are going to lose their jobs.
Good. Let me tell you, that's where I define issues like this. Must everybody work in civil service?
No, but it's an easy way out.
Create an economy where private companies will thrive. And at the end of the day, these guys, if they are laid off, let them come and work. You see the thing with Nigeria, when it comes to the ministry, when it comes to civil service, once you are in, as a man, as a father, right? I bet you one of your child or 2 children of yours will definitely get in. I know a family who about 4 of them are working in the ministry because their father had a leg. So qualified or not, that's not an issue, right? The fact that the man has an upper hand there, put my daughter here, put my son here, put my daughter here,
put my daughter here, and that's what
You know why?
So I think that we don't have a structure that is actually being checked.
Are you not tired of this our country?
I feel like
you know why?
I feel like running, but this is
we hear words like due process. They will not create a ministry. They will not create an agency
Imo
for due process.
Imo State had a commission and a commissioner for happiness.
Yes, commissioner for happiness.
I remember that. I remember that.
And the lady is happy that they are swearing her in as the commissioner for happiness.
That doesn't make any sense.
And you not employ people
and
to
she was
work.
related to the government.
And you not see somebody will not be proud to tell you that he's working with the state government under the Ministry of Happiness. Just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. But let's also look at this. The Nigerian government is trying very hard to reduce the cost of governance.
Okay.
They are not trying to reduce unemployment because if they do what they are intending to do right now, the unemployment rate is going to definitely shoot up.
Yeah.
So they're trying so hard to reduce the cost of governance, and they're starting with civil servants in different ministries and federal agencies. Let's talk about our senators and all of the allowances they take. Why is nobody saying, why is no one senator saying, hey, this money we are taking home is too much. Yeah. This is too much for us. Why don't we amongst ourselves decide to slash our salaries and our allowances? Why are they not saying that?
Because they are the one that make the law. They are the one that execute the law.
And they are above the law.
Yeah, they are above the law. That's the word.
Because our senators and sorts of the likes have wardrobe allowances.
Newspaper
they have
allowance.
Newspaper allowance, guardian allowance, interior allowance. They have what other funny allowance?
Sitting allowance.
Sitting allowance. No, that's sitting allowance.
But most of them go there to sit and sleep. For house help, and they are getting paid for it.
All these allowances are not.
All this will continue until leaders in this nation understand what leadership is about. Leadership is service. They don't see it as service. Because if you see it as service, you will not want to collect all the monies that is meant for the people. You allocate them to yourself and you impoverish the people. And the next election cycle, you release part of the money you have gathered, you keep them small amount of money and make them re-elect you. Now, look, even goes to the Senate now. Let's use the Senate, for example. It's filled with ex-governors.
Yes,
exactly. Exactly what I want to say.
They are receiving pension from their various states.
So exactly what I want to say. Once you see a governor, once the tenure is over, the next thing on his mind is going for a senatorial position, right? And they collect the fee, like I don't know, pension or something for being a governor in your state. They collect that. They collect for to be being a senator to also collect that.
All the allowances that comes with it.
It's funny the allowance that ex-governors have from the states. It's funny.
I don't even blame them. The federal
funny.
The federal government does not have control. The reason why we're going to have issues like that is because of the way our states is being structured. You discover that we are supposed to have the legislative arm, we are supposed to have the judiciary, we are supposed to have the executive. Now look at our legislative arm. It's like a rubber stamp legislative hand. It's the governor that puts his people there. So at the end of the day, they make law that will favor them and favor the governor. The governor twist them to make laws that will favor them.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, that's why you see at the end of the day, the state house, legislative house will wake up one morning and say, we want to be paying ex-governor this amount of money.
The question I keep asking is, what were these governors doing before they became governors? Because when people retire, some of them go back to their villages to farm. Some of them, decide to pass this knowledge to other people and become teachers and stuff like that. But these ex-governors become governors, and when they become ex-governors, they still take a lot of money for doing nothing.
Nothing is Nigeria. No governor will want to leave
for doing
a governor and go to rub shoulders with people in the village.
It doesn't make any sense. Now let's talk about contractors. Those ones, another crop of people, which I know will still link back to our senators and Federal House of Representative members, because most of these senators and these Federal House members do not give contracts to people they do not know.
How will you give?
So at the end of the day, when they give contracts, they tell you, okay, at my court, there's a court, there's always a court, and these contracts are never executed.
You are looking at contractors, looking at it from senators. It's not even senators. You see that civil service you are looking at?
That's the
origin, the alpha and the omega of corruption in this country. You see those civil servants?
I like that we are blaming the civil servants.
You see those houses in Abuja, Metama, those choice houses in Abuja. You think it's owned by politicians? Civil servants.
Civil servants.
The money. You see, when you hear the word say sit on fire, That's the terminology they use in civil service cycle. As a contractor, before they will allow your file to move from one office to another. It's not senator will
and most times, people going to church to actually pray to say, "Oh Lord, my file is not moving."
And it's not supposed to. I think for contracts, we know how it's done in private sector now. Everything is very seamless. You come, you bid. If you're good enough, you're picked. If you're not good enough, go and try another time.
Let's get into this contractors thing a bit, right? So you get, like myself and Faith were discussing before we came live on the show. You have a contract, let's say 300 million, and Faith says what she found out before then, they have to go wash the hands of these people in the office, buy a bag of rice, sometimes drop cows, sometimes distribute money. At the end of the day, they all look together and say, okay, we have to give to so person. Why or what way do you think we can have transparency when it comes to contracts? Because at the end of the day, it's the citizens who suffer.
Yes.
Because you just see trips of sand, you see caterpillars, you see tractors just on one spot.
Uncompleted
and you have a board there. This contract is carried out by
Lazy construction.
Like, how do we even get transparency in this particular issue?
The question I want to ask you, I said make mention of something just now, that you have a due process. It's the agency, they call them now, that is meant for every organization. There's this group, every MDA, there's this group that handles bidding. Yeah. But most often the time, when it comes to giving out this contract, they don't give it to the credible hand that is ready to do the job. They do this paddy thing. You have to know somebody that will push your file, know somebody. So at the end of the day, the process is already compromised. And when the process is compromised, ab initio, there is no way you get the job done. Because most often the time, the monies that is meant for this project, the contractor knows that, for me to be able to carry out this project, it will cost me so amount. But this man will tell you, put in my own. And if this man is quite, everybody are putting their own, the contract is already over bloated and you finish sharing the money. The man will say, okay, come, who is there to checkmate me? There's no check and balance. Who is there to tell me that the job is not done? Because the man that hates would not, they say, you have to learn good manners now, good table manners.
Yeah.
You don't talk when you're eating.
Exactly.
If you want to talk, they have a way of off the mic. Or you remember off the mic?
Off the mic, literally happened.
Everybody was off mic. So when you start talking, the mic. So when they off the mic, it's quite that, check that incident now. Since that time they off the mic.
Nobody has raised up the mic.
They don't turn it on again.
Exactly.
That is what happens. So nobody is there to be able to say,
I mean, like in Nigeria, from what it stands, there is no way forward.
You think there is way forward for?
Whoa, this is.
I know sometimes. No, I'm sorry. Sometimes we just give ourselves hope.
Right?
The only way things will change in this country. You see, Buhari. Sometimes we blame Buhari. They feel Buhari is the problem of this country. Buhari came with an intention to change Nigeria.
I say that most Nigerians are wicked to them, so not
because look at the check when Buhari came into power. But there's this slang then, body language. He has not done anything, body language. So they felt that, come on, this man, we have to be very careful because this man is going to deal with us like a new boss in the office now. You saw contractors who are not behaving, Amechi, they were moving from state to state, they were walking on Lagos Ibadan Road, a lot of things were going on. But you know what? They will not check this man. Civil service, they are smart. They will not check. Then they will resuming work 7:30. So they will not check. They'll say, let's come to work 7:45 today.
And let's see if you will.
So they will make 7:45, nothing happens. 8 o'clock, nothing happens. 9 o'clock, nothing.
10.
Then it gets to come, they will not come to the office at all. Check contractors started misbehaving. Then the worst was when Buhari became sick.
Whoa.
There was no body language anymore. So everybody returned back to status quo, and that's where we are now. So Buhari, if you bring another Buhari, you bring a Diagon to become the president of this country, with the kind of civil service we have, nothing will work. That's why the only way things will change in this nation is let the Christians continue to pray to God.
Wow.
Let the Muslims continue to pray to their God for Allah for divine intervention. And the youths, because we are the leaders of tomorrow.
We keep hearing this. Are we really the leaders of tomorrow?
Let us take our country back. And the only one who can do that is not going to the street to riot. Let us relax. Let us begin to strategize. 2023 is very close.
Yeah.
It's here already.
It's here already. This is not the time for us to be shouting. This is not the time for us to carry placard and do revolution. No! The best revolution is to go to the polling station and cause a change. This time, we are going to put people that are accountable.
What if these accountable people do not come out You know, they don't even declare
Out of the
intentions.
frustration.
And
You don't know,
because it's very
you know what,
frustrating.
and that's what I don't believe. They do. These people come out.
Why
Check the
Fela-
last election.
why Fela don't came out? How many
Fela
people
was there.
voted? How many people voted
Kiss
for him?
Mogalu was there.
How many
You want to
people
tell me that
voted?
these guys cannot pilot the ship of
How
the
many
nation?
people voted for them?
I'm tempted to ask who you voted for
How many
in
people voted
2019,
for
but I'm
them?
going to leave that question.
No, that's not how we tell
You answered.
The secret ballot system. I won't tell you who I voted for. But I voted for change. I voted for change.
Okay, so I get the picture.
I didn't vote for next
I get the
level.
picture.
I voted for change.
I get the
I
picture.
wanted a distortion in the system.
We are rounding up very soon, but we cannot go without reading out the comments we have on Instagram. Thank you so much to everyone who actually drops comments on Instagram. Anytime we want to have a show like this, we post a question on Instagram and we get your reaction. Your opinion matters, like I always say. So we asked about the review of salaries by the federal government, the intention to review salaries. And these are the comments we have. Edo Vendors on Instagram is saying this is just the beginning and they will do more. We can't fight them because if we do, we will be creating the war that we should avoid. So better still, everybody should get a side hustle, invest in a lot of things. This isn't the time to spend money anyhow. The country is going to fall into economic hardship for real. We are already in a very serious situation right now. Okay, so from Lola Aderugba, this one is saying it's a no from me. It's ridiculous because how much are they paying these civil servants? We all know that the economy is going down, but let them start by slashing their own allowances and all. Well, Fela said it all because these people will just sit down in a corner and make stupid decisions. They are all animals in human skin.
Wow.
So these are the comments we have on Instagram currently. Quite tough, quite saddening because Nigerians are tired. I am tired. I don't know about you, Zazie.
Truly speaking, I am. And, well, like we say, we wish and we just hope that things will get better. But thank you very much, Mr. Kerry, for being on the show with us.
We love the energy you always. We love the energy you always bring on the show.
And I wish that maybe you will go out and maybe so we can actually vote for you.
People won't vote for me.
We will. You see?
People won't vote.
Your constraint right now is no bag of rice and
People vote for me.
Give it a try. We're going to continue these arguments after the show, but thank you so very much for being here with us. Always a great time having you join us on The Breakfast Show. Do you know that you can follow us on all our social media handles on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TSL Nigeria TV. We're coming your way again on Wednesday. You don't want to miss out of The Breakfast Show. I am Zazie Odwefe. Stay safe.
Stay connected to TSL Nigeria and get updates on the go all day, every day. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on TSL Nigeria Space TV and join our online family.